Juliflora. This species is globally distributed around the world, and particularly in the tropics. In Africa, and East Africa, and particularly Kenya, this species has a love-hate relationship with communities, especially the rural communities. This is more so because this species is so muchly tied to social livelihoods, particularly water and food security. It was initially introduced in Kenya in the 1980s through an environmental restoration program in Marigat and Baringo regions. In the 1990s, it spread to other Kenyan dryland regions such as Tana River and Marsabit, and by 2008, it was declared an obnoxious weed in Kenya. Not much has been done on this tree species in the northeastern drylands of Kenya, and hence the need of this study. Numerous uses of Prosopsis Juliflora have been reported in Africa that range from fieldwood, timber, fodder, medicinal use, amongst many others. Their use and impacts vary across the African continent.
800. This bag is 800. 800.
Ikiwa mbili. Ikiwa nini?
1600.
Sasa hawa watu wanakuja chukua hapa. Kama mnapeleka huko.
Tunapeleka huko.
This study has three objectives. The first one is on spatial temporal distribution of Prosopsis Juliflora in the Turkana region of Kenya in the last 2 decades. The second objective looks at the likely future areas where Prosopsis Juliflora is likely to invade. And the third study, which is what we are talking about in this particular video clip, is to determine the types and levels of utilization of Prosopsis Juliflora and therefore the control management options. The study was done in Turkana County in northeastern Kenya. 381 questionnaires were administered to households, and these sought various information that included products harvested from Prosopsis, the rate of harvesting, the uses of the products, and the local perceptions on the invasive plants towards water and food security. The preliminary results show that 56% of the households find Prosopsis Juliflora beneficial to them, while 44% do not find so. Among the reasons given for households that do not find Prosopsis beneficial include issues like Prosopsis isn't healthy to the livestock, Prosopsis has got poor quality charcoal, all the way to reasons like unhealthy because it has got poisonous thorns. Perhaps two factors that are important, especially with regards to food and water security, is indicated by the two red bars that shows that Prosopsis actually kills native fodder plants, and it also drains the water in the soil. With regards to extracted products and their ranked importance to the communities, fieldwood and building poles were ranked as first. What is surprising is that the use of fodder was not ranked first in our study, unlike in other studies. This may be due to the fact that there are still substantive areas with native fodder species that provide grazing land. This has an implication for food and water security in the region because if native fodder species are not conserved, we expect things to get worse, whereby Prosopsis may become the key source of livestock feed. Yet we know it's detrimental and it should be eradicated. Another interesting product is the extraction of fieldwood and charcoal that is shown in red in the table. Here, the question is the rate of wood extraction sufficient enough to keep at bay the rate of growth of the invasive species? This will require modeling where the results of extraction will be compared to the abundance and the rate of growth of Prosopsis in the region. A further look at the results showed that the three most extracted products, as shown in the figure, were fieldwood, fencing, and building post. Conversely, the least extracted products are timber and carvings. The interesting thing here is that although carving was the least extracted, its mean economic return per household was highest. On the contrary, fieldwood, which was the most extracted product, gave the least economic returns per household. The high value of Prosopsis wood for carving would be due to the fact that it is hard and termite resistant. However, carving is not a pastime here, as this is a pastoralist county. In conclusion, Prosopsis Juliflora has got its pros and cons in the Kenyan drylands. Even though it is harvested a lot in the drylands, we need to know what amount of harvesting for fieldwood and other uses is required to keep the invasive species at bay. That means, as I said earlier, we need to do some modeling, and that might be a way of having another large research project, LRP, coming in through there. Secondly, other than just using it for fieldwood and other purposes like fodder, it should also extend to include things like carving, which are cost effective, and it will give more money for value for the local communities. However, the communities are not really carvers, but they are pastoralists, so there will be an implication in the social, economic, and cultural dynamics in that regard.